So this is Robo Kala's 2-in-1 laptop, and it's of course a tablet for entertainment. You can just disconnect it. So I'm really excited to talk about it. Let's dive deep into it. So after having put this laptop through a lot of tests through my own personal use, it has officially become my travel work laptop / entertainment. So what's so good about this 2-in-1 tablet? Well, I personally think it's the killer of the Surface Pro. I've had a Surface Pro in the past and they were just really clunky because they use Intel CPUs. And Intel CPUs are notoriously terrible in terms of thermals. They get really hot, they make a lot of fan noise, and it's just a terrible experience because, thermal throttling sucks. And what makes this so much better than a tablet like Android or iPad is that this is a fully fledged PC. When it has Windows 11, it's super lightweight, really compact, but still has a really nice high resolution display. OLED display is one of the best displays I've ever seen in my life, and it rivals Samsung's display. It has amazing battery life that rivals even iPad tablets. And best of all, this is one of the first Windows laptops equipped with a very powerful, efficient ARM processor, the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 chip. Now, my version of this laptop is equipped with 16 gigs of memory and 512 gigs of storage. In fact, you can upgrade the storage. There's an SSD expansion slot. Now, this laptop is ridiculously thin at 7.3 millimeters. That's as thin as my Samsung Tab S8. And it's crazy because this is actually a computer, not just a tablet. It weighs only 753 grams by itself. And with the cover, it weighs 1.1 kilograms. It has two USB-C ports that can power big 4K displays. I have it connected to my computer just over there, and it was a really nice experience to have this in clamshell mode and use my keyboard and mouse to have ultimate productivity. So if you're on the go and you want to plug this into a big monitor and keyboard and mouse and have your workstation remotely, you have that. This is perfect for remote travel. Now, one of the most important inputs to your laptop is the keyboard, and I have to say this keyboard is absolutely amazing. I think it rivals even the MacBook Air keyboards. The key travel is very, very nice and smooth and just feels very tactile. I'll give you a little bit of ASMR. So not only is the keyboard amazing for productivity, so you can type long documents because it just feels so comfortable to use, it also has a really nice trackpad. I have to say, it is a little bit on the smaller side because you're making a trade-off for a smaller overall form factor, but it does feel very good, and I had no issues using the trackpad. Now, one of the coolest features about this is that this is actually a Bluetooth set, so you can disconnect it, and then you can have the laptop further away, maybe more ergonomic, maybe have it positioned on a little platform step, as you can see in this video over here, and then you can arrange the keyboard in such a way that you can just really maximize your straight back. So this is such an amazing feature, and I love that this is just a regular Bluetooth keyboard. Also, the magnetic connection is very strong, it's very sturdy, and I like the fact that it's so easy to take it on, take it off. And because this is a Windows 11 machine and it's quite powerful, I was able to edit my Android apps, React Native apps, which are pretty big projects, like thousands of lines of code, and this keyboard was amazing to type on and just to write code and stuff like that. The next big thing that I like about this specific 2-in-1 laptop is the fact that it has no fans, and this is the revolution with ARM processors. It just generates very little heat. It's just very power efficient. And part of the reason why this laptop performs so well in terms of heat management is not only the ARM processor, but also how they use dual heat pipes and a large graphene sheet in order to provide the best heat dissipation. And because this device runs very nice and cool, I can sit on my sofa and comfortably put it on my lap and not burn my skin. And by the way, yes, even though this is not a traditional laptop, it is very comfortable to type on my lap. But more importantly, because of the fanless design, you don't have that annoying fan noise, that high-pitched squealing noise that was very typical of any Intel machine. All right, let's talk about cameras. On the front, you get a 5 megapixel 1080p, and on the rear, you get a whopping 13 megapixel camera with 4K autofocus. All right, so we're testing the front sensor. How does it look? How does it compare? I think it looks really, really good right now on the screen. This is very impressive for such a small laptop that with the front sensor. I mean, this is way better than some of the MacBooks out there. You also have support for Windows Hello, which means that you don't have to type in a PIN code every time you open up the laptop. I simply just open it up and it immediately unlocks it with my face. Now, one of the most essential features of any good laptop or tablet is the display. And now this display is nothing short of amazing. So this is a 12.6-inch display. And I think that size is a perfect trade-off in terms of getting a very small form factor when you want to travel and something lightweight, but also being able to be productive on this laptop on the go. First of all, it is a beautiful OLED display that rivals Samsung's displays. All the colors just really pop. They're very accurate, and I had no issues with viewing angles. In fact, right now, the viewing angle that I'm seeing here, it is 100% perfect. So this is like one of the best displays I've ever seen in my life, honestly. It's so nice. It's such a visual treat. The pixel density is so high, the resolution is so high, and you also have that nice 16:10 aspect ratio. That means that it's slightly taller, which means that you have more vertical space. And this is very important if you're doing things like video editing, programming, Photoshop, anything that's high intensity productivity. And for those that deal with a lot of photos or videos, you'll be glad to know that this is a color accurate display. It covers the DC-P3 cinematic color gamut. Now for video consumption, this is also an amazing tablet, obviously, because it just looks so well and it's super bright. It goes up to 600 nits, and I had no issues in the bright outdoor sunlight. Now, one of my favorite pastimes is eating food and watching TV. I barely use my TV anymore, and I just like being able to have a quick meal and then watch some YouTube, for example. And what's great about this is that it has an inbuilt kickstand, obviously, and you obviously don't need the keyboard, so you can just treat it like a tablet. And what's cool is that you have so many angles of adjustment. So let's say you're really, maybe you're standing, maybe you want it a little bit more flat, or maybe you're sitting in front of it, maybe you really want it like kind of vertical right at you. So this is a really good, you have so much more ergonomics when it comes to like setting the right angle for your display, unlike a laptop, which is very limited at times. So let's talk about the amazing battery life of this machine. First of all, I have to say the standby battery life is something that's very important for me, especially when it comes to Windows laptops, because they've been notoriously, historically really bad because of poor management of energy. Now this, because it's equipped with an ARM processor and it has a really nice high density battery, I found that the standby battery life was amazing. I don't use it for like a day or two and I come back to it. It's still near the percentage that where I left it at. Now, in terms of the actual usage, your mileage may vary. Now it's rated up to 20 hours, and that's more like in a lab testing where you're playing a video, like you're not surfing the web, you're not connected and stuff like that. In terms of my own practical real world usage, I have to say this rivals any of the MacBook Airs or MacBooks I've used in the past. Sometimes I take it to video editing, or I'm watching videos or browsing on Chrome and coding, and I can last anywhere from 8 to 15 hours. So I'm very impressed with the battery life, and I think this is one of the best laptops you can get for such a small size and have the performance, the battery life, the size, the heat dissipation. It's all a really great compact little device. Now this laptop supports up to 45-watt PD fast charging, and the included GAN charger is plenty fast to make that possible. Now, one really cool accessory you can buy with this 2-in-1 laptop is the Smart Pen, and I have to say this is a really good addition because one, it just snaps very satisfyingly in place. I never really lose it. It charges there. And I find that being able to write on a tablet is very good for my own productivity. Sometimes I'm trying to solve a coding problem and I like to actually use my hands and draw it out versus, just thinking in my brain or something like that. And it's also really good if you want to design like graphs and like communicate online with people. What's really great is that it has excellent palm rejection, so you can write just like any other paper. It's just a very fun experience overall. In terms of other accessories, you can get a case for this, and it's a very nice customized case specifically for this laptop, and it houses the Smart Pen. They also provide a perfectly aligned screen protector, and I was able to install it with relative ease, and I had zero bubbles after a while. Now let's talk about the actual performance of this machine. So we know it has an amazing display, great battery life. How well does it perform on every day-to-day task and more intense productivity tasks? I like to do programming, I like to do video editing, and I did find some limits to this because obviously this isn't going to be, as powerful as a gaming laptop or one of the, M1 Max or whatever you want to get out there. In terms of the actual day-to-day experience, like just scrolling through, browsing, communicating, email, messenger, YouTube, all that stuff, it is totally fine. This handles it like a beast. When it comes to actual like coding, I actually loaded up my entire Android Studio project and a couple of React projects that are, really big projects. They're not just like sample projects. And when I was building the code, which is a very CPU intensive process, I noticed that it was doing a really good job. It never overheated, obviously, because it has no fan and it's super quiet. And it's just a great experience. It's hard to explain that. It's kind of weird that in 2023 and going into 2024 soon, I can get all this powerful in such a small form factor. And yeah, I love taking this wherever I go, and I can just, if I need to do a little bit of productivity, it's right here. And I love that I can detach the keyboard and maybe add a really big keyboard or attach it to my monitor and just be really productive. Now, in terms of the limitations, I did try to load Premiere Pro, the latest version, and unfortunately it's not supported on ARM processors yet. There are older versions of Premiere Pro that actually work, and I tested that out. But when it comes to editing videos, like big 4K videos, I find that you're going to have a better experience using proxies. Now, both my Sony cameras luckily can record proxies as I film, so I don't have no issues with that. So if I really needed to edit on the go, I would have no issues. In terms of compatibility with other software like ARM, I did not run into any other issues. Now, what's amazing about this laptop is the Wi-Fi 6. This means that you can stream really fast, up to like 1 gigabit. And I find that being able to connect to my remote computer, let's say I'm away halfway around the world, I can remotely turn on my computer using my switch pod. Unfortunately, I can't do a LAN packet turn on. It's a long, complicated story with my motherboard, but I use a mechanical switch to turn it on, and then I can just remote log in using Google's remote desktop software, and then I can access my really hardcore productivity apps like Premiere Pro and have like these huge 4K timelines. I can actually edit on the go if I have to make a small change. Now, in terms of gaming, what's so cool about this is that it's pretty decent. I was able to play CSGO and I was actually getting some nice frags or kills. I find that it's not going to be the best experience because it's going to be a little bit more laggy, but if you're on the go and you want to play a little bit of PC games, I think this is going to be a great device for you. Just don't expect crazy, 3090 or 4090 RTX graphics. Alright, so we're almost near the end of this video, and I just want to wrap this up. I have to say, this is a very impressive 2-in-1 laptop. I was totally blown away by the display, the performance, all the smart features like the Hello sign-in, the amazing keyboard and trackpad. I just love typing on it. And it's such a small form factor that I don't mind carrying this in my bag everywhere I go because it's just such a useful device. So who is this for? Well, I think this is for someone who wants something that is really lightweight, but is on the go a lot and doesn't want to carry, 2 devices, one for like a tablet or a laptop. Now, if you're a student, I think this is going to be the perfect laptop because you want something that is very nice to type on and it's also going to be very powerful, but you can also use it as a TV, as a media device. I think that's a really cool thing that, it's just a 2-in-1 device. So if you have any questions or comments about this, please let me know in the comments section down below. I'm very happy to help you. And I'll also leave a link in the description. I think they're having a sale right now. So check that out and I will see you in the next video.